Welcome everyone. My name is Nancy Higgins. I'm a registered nurse at Maimonides Medical Center, and I'm also the president of the New York State Nurses Association. 42 union strong nurses! We are here today because greedy Mount Sinai decided to put profit over patients. Dr. Carr, Mr. Carr, whatever you want to call him, Greedy Carr, sent some kind of message that he missed the nurses. Seriously, if you miss the nurses, you would not be spending over $100 million to bring in replacement workers that are not qualified. The nurses here want it to be inside. You're putting it outside. So we are here to tell you, this is about patient care. We want safe staffing. We want to be able to come to work and have workers' violence protection. That coverage you want to take away, it's not happening. Everything that we won 3 years ago, Mount Sinai want to take it away. I work in a safety net hospital. If all 8 safety net hospitals could come together and provide medical coverage, better nurse-to-patient ratios, workplace violence protection. I need to say, Mount Sinai, what the hell is wrong with you? You need to do the right thing. You need to come to the table and negotiate a fair contract. Fair contract now. 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 Fair contract now! Fair contract now! And now I'm going to introduce a registered nurse from Mount Sinai, Darla Joyner. She's also the president of the local LDU. She's been sitting at the negotiating table where management only disrespects them because they would only come in for 10 minutes and laugh in their face when they put a proposal across the table and leave. Shame on you, Sinai. Our next speaker, registered nurse Darla Joyner.
Hi, my name's Darla Joyner. I'm a nurse at Mount Sinai. I've been here for 8 years. I also serve as the local bargaining unit president for NYC here at the hospital. I'm here to talk to you about staffing. For nurses here, do you remember life before ratios? Time-wise, that's about 2020 to 2022. Let's go back in time. Then, we only had staffing grids. Management used to purposely hide those staffing grids on many units to make it hard for nurses to push back on safe staffing. Some shifts were so badly staffed, it was normal to have 7 to 8 patients. On some Saturdays, nurses would have to float to help balance staffing on another unit. So that meant all of us would have 7 patients on all floors. This included oncology, cardiac, and step-down units. This is a time where it was common for orientees to work unsupervised. They were told by management they would count towards the grids. I can recall advocating for night shifts to have a 3rd nurse on Sunday nights. That meant if 2 nurses split a unit of 25 patients, 1 nurse would get 12 patients, and the other would get 13 patients. If we were lucky, we would get a 3rd nurse. That way, they could have 8 to 9 patients. Many times, it would take 2 hours for that extra nurse to arrive. A day shift nurse would have to stay until that replacement arrived. This is described as escalation in the chain of command when you talk to management. That was not escalation to advocate for another nurse. That was begging. Begging management to find staffing. In those times, it was ridiculous to beg. Even more ridiculous is that we were begging to still be understaffed. This is why safe staffing matters. This is why your grids are visibly posted now. You all know one of the biggest gains from our last contract was the addition of ratios. We gained staffing enforcement language that finally made the hospital staff the units. We gained an enforcement process through staffing committees. We gained language that pushed them to hire 1,000 nurses over the life of the contract. We gained language that made them accountable for you working 2 to 3 nurses short 4 months. language that means no nurse should ever exceed their ratio. However, our nurses are still taking double assignments to cover nurses to go on their breaks. That should not be happening. We stand to lose all of this great staffing enforcement language as quickly as we gained it. Our ratios were disguised as a guideline by the CNO. That means the ratio could be higher if the patients are not as sick.
I say union, you say power.
In a new proposal, the orientees could count towards the grid.
I say respect, you say nurses.
I just described to you what happened in 2022. Some of you have been affected by this. Some of you may have been traumatized by this. If management gets their way, all of these wonderful things that help to staff, recruit, and return nurses are gone. Once again, we will face the unsafe conditions that we thought were in the rearview mirror. This is why we're here again. This is why we held the line. We're not going back. Safe staffing saves lives.
Thank you. Thank you. Safe staffing. Safe staffing. And we are not going back. We are not going back. We're here to say, Mr. Carr, take some of your millions and invest them into the communities. Invest them to safe staffing. Invest $1 million into a medical benefit. Invest $1 million into workplace violence protection. About a month ago, you had an active shooter in here. And what are you doing about it? Instead, you have decided to retaliate against the nurses. You have decided to try to bust the union. Union busting is disgusting. Union busting is disgusting. Union busting is disgusting.
Union busting is disgusting. It's disgusting.
Union busting
It's disgusting.
Now I'd like to introduce our trailblazer, our Councilwoman Lynn Shulman. Please welcome.
Thank you. I'm Councilmember Lynn Shulman. I'm chair of the New York City Council Health Committee. Nurses United will never be divided. Let's hear it. Nurses United will never be divided. Nurses United will never be divided. One more time. Nurses United will never be divided. United will never be defeated. United will never be defeated. So 2 years ago, I stood on this very spot when there was a strike back then with Neisner in solidarity. And guess what? There was a death in the NICU unit of a baby, of an infant, because they didn't have enough nurses. Why? Because they wouldn't come to the bargaining table. We have to make sure that Mount Sinai does what the right thing. And let me tell you something. The nurses are asking not for the moon and the stars. They're asking for workplace safety. We're asking for to make sure that healthcare is not diminished. And we have to make sure that also we get fair wages. But the workplace safety has been a major issue. And they haven't come to the table. They haven't done anything. We have to make sure that happens. And I and my city council colleagues are going to keep working on this and keep standing in solidarity with the nurses at Mount Sinai, Presbyterian, and Montefiore. Nurses United will never be defeated. Nurses United will never be defeated. Thank you.
Nurses United will never be defeated. Nurses United will never be defeated.
We want to make it clear. Patients are not for sale. Patient care comes first. Patients over profit. We will negotiate our wages, but we will not cut corners when it comes to patient safety. We will not cut corners. Now I'd like to introduce 3 nurses from Mount Sinai that were fired Sunday right before the strike. Although Lion Carr said it didn't happen, but it happened. We want to call up Nurse Kelly Donnelly from LNZ, Nurse Verena Salamovic, and Lillian Prestel. Please come up. And we would like for you, we are supporting you, we got your back, because we're not going to let it happen. We are not going to allow union busting.
My name is Kelly Donnelly, and I am a labor and delivery nurse at Mount Sinai, standing here today to let you know that Mount Sinai is attacking our nurses. We are fighting for our patients, for our communities, and for other nurses. Mount Sinai has responded cowardly. Instead of listening to their nurses, who are with their patients every day, they fight against us. A few months ago, 9 of our L&D nurses, including myself, received disciplines for engaging in union activity during our unpaid break. Then, just hours before we decided we were going on strike on Sunday, my coworkers were unjustly fired via voicemail. We spend our days delivering the future of New York while management spends their days delivering their hard-working nurses' discipline. We are being tracked by our security on our unit, and footage is being used for discipline. Meanwhile, when we call security for help, they tell us to call the police. They stand there. We are tired of the abuse from our managers. We are tired of being surveilled. We are tired of the union busting. And we will not stand for it. Mount Sinai, we labored, and now it's time for you to deliver a fair contract. We will not be silent. We will continue to speak up and demand what our communities deserve. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Serena.
My name's Liliana.
And we're both nurses on labor and delivery at the Mount Sinai Hospital. We've both been here for 3 years. We both love the work that we do and all the mothers we deliver and we bring life into this world. Just hours before we were meant to join our fellow nurses on the strike line, we were both fired in pure act of intimidation.
It was Mount Sinai's cruel attempt to stop us from joining the strike line and to make an example of us to our fellow nurses, but we are not scared. We will continue to fight. We are also both new moms returning to work from maternity leave. We returned to work just 6 months ago as new moms with babies that depend on our health insurance. The fight to protect our healthcare coverage is extremely important to us, and so the stakes for this strike are high.
On the night before our strike began, while our bargaining committee was still in negotiation, we were contacted and terminated via voicemail. Would you guys like to hear it?
Yes.
Sure. Our unit has already experienced aggressive union busting, which our colleagues have already shared. Over the weekend, we were unfairly disciplined by management who falsely accused us of interfering with the work of our expensive temporary travel nurse brought to replace us and who were coerced in training.
use temporary travel nurses to undermine our union power. Our patients are always our top priority, and we would never compromise patient safety. We will not be bullied by Mount Sinai, and we'll do everything we can to contest our unjust firing. But Mount Sinai must be held accountable. They cannot continue to discipline and punish nurses who speak out about patient safety and nurse safety.
Mount Sinai needs to return to the bargaining table and start taking patient care safely just as seriously as we do. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to say to these nurses and everyone, thank you for your courage. Thank you for coming up here and speaking out, because the management at Mount Sinai, they don't have the guts. They are hiding behind a shield to send nurses voicemail, okay, to let them know that they fired. And now you coming on television and say you miss your nurses? If you miss the nurses so much, come to the table and negotiate. Negotiate a fair contract. Stop hiding. We could see your ugly side. Stop hiding. We could see your ugly side. Sinai, you can hide. We can see your greedy side. You can hide. We can see your greedy side. And our next speakers we have elected officials, and we appreciate you coming in here and supporting us. We are going to call Council Member Farah Lewis and Council Member Sheka Krishnan. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Council Member Farah Lewis. I represent Council District 45 in Brooklyn. I am a daughter of a nurse, a sister of 2 nurses, and a former employee from Mount Sinai. I am here today to stand in solidarity with NYC and the 15,000 nurses in New York City that are striking for their rights and a fair contract. Today, we are putting CEO Brandon Carr on notice. We are letting you know union busting will not prevail. We stand here today to remind you it is these very same nurses that you needed during the COVID-19 pandemic. It is these very same nurses, whenever there's an emergency in this city, that are here to provide servitude, to make sure that patients have their care. So, you have a responsibility. It is your responsibility to provide their priorities. They need safe staffing, protection against violence. They need pensions, and most of all, they need their health care benefits. It should not be taken away. They are striking for fair reason. They are striking for the sake of their rights, and they deserve it. So we put you on notice today. If there continues to be union busting, if you do not come to the table to make sure it's a good faith negotiation, we have you on notice and we will take you down. Nurses, if you don't get what you want, shut it down. 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 Shut it down.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shaker Krishnan. I'm a New York City Council member for Jackson Heights and Elmhurst Queens, where I have Elmhurst Hospital in my district, which means I know firsthand what our nurses are doing every single day to care for this city, to care for every single New Yorker that walks through these hospital doors. I want to paint you a picture of what's happening here. The CEO of Mount Sinai makes millions. The CEO of Montefiore makes millions. The CEO of New York Presbyterian makes millions. But guess what? Their money can't make up for the people power of 15,000 nurses here. Am I right about this? Is NASA in the house? Are our nurses in the house? We are demanding that these for-profit hospitals that are so greedy show what they owe their nurses. The frontline nurses who care for any patient that walks through its doors in any condition. It's our nurses who take care of them. our nurses who are some of the most essential workers in this city. It is time for these hospitals to put up or shut up. They either put up or they shut up. They stop talking about all the care they provide because they are doing it because of the nurses who are here. These hospital executives earn the salaries they do because of the nurses who make these hospitals successful. So I want to say what these CEOs are not saying. To each and every one of you who are here, all our knives on nurses, thank you. To the nurses who have been fired for speaking out and organizing, thank you. We in this city council got your back. We will stand with you and fight together to make sure that you all have safe staffing, that you have the healthcare benefits you deserve because you're caring for all of us, that you have workplace protections against violence. These are basic conditions, and I'm tired that we have to come out here every few years to make sure that you all get what you deserve. We stand with you all, Nigel. We will fight to the end. Thank you all so much.
Will never be defeated. Nurses united will never be defeated. Nurses united will never be defeated. Nurses united will never be defeated.
And we are nurses. We care for New York. We care for every patient and every zip code, regardless of their immigration status, regardless of religion, regardless of sexual orientation, regardless period. But if we're not healthy, we cannot take care of New York. So we want Mr. Carr with other OOs and the millions to come to the table, negotiate a fair contract that includes safe staffing. We are not going back. We don't want to lose what we earned 3 years ago. We want to keep our medical coverage. We want a pension. And we want to be protected at work, so we want to have workers' violence protection. And Sinai, I have a message for you. Union busting is disgusting! Union busting is disgusting! Is disgusting! Our next speaker is our ally, Executive Director Theo Moore. Please welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Theo Moore. I'm the Executive Director of Align, the Alliance for Greater New York. Great to see so many people out here. I feel like these hospital CEOs forget that nurses are not just caretakers, they're also fighters. They seem to forget that during the pandemic, it was the nurses that was taking care of New Yorkers. It was the nurses that were sacrificing their health and their lives for us. They seem to forget that we were all clapping for them on a daily basis. How soon they forget. They seem to forget the ass kicking that they took just 3 years ago during the previous negotiations. They seem to forget. So here we are to remind them once again that nurses are fighters. They are fighting for their patients. They are fighting for their livelihoods. They are fighting for their abilities to stay here in New York City. And we want them here. It makes no sense that on a weekly basis, these CEOs are making 2, 3, 4 times the amount that nurses make in a whole year. It makes no sense that folks have to go to work and fear their safety because these CEOs can't guarantee the safety of nurses. It makes no sense that folks have to be overworked because they refuse to have adequate staffing levels in all of these hospitals. It makes absolutely no sense. But we're here to remind them. We are here. We are with you. You are strong. And through this contract negotiation, we are going to guarantee that you get everything you deserve. Let me say this one more time. When I say nurses, you say respect. Nurses. Respect. Nurses. Respect. Nurses. Respect. Nurses. Respect. Thank you.
Thank you. And also, we all are here together. I would like to acknowledge our other siblings who from the safety net hospitals that are here in 3 separate buses from Wyckoff Medical Center, Brooklyn Hospital, Maimonides Medical Center, Kingsbrook One Health, and Interfaith. Because we are one. When you attack one of us, the attack is on all of us. And we want to let everyone know, nurses are not on strike. The bosses put nurses on strike because they refuse to come to the table and negotiate a fair contract. They would rather take millions and invest them in out-of-town replacements that are not as highly qualified as our nurses. Our message, Mr. Carr, if you really care about your patients, if you really care about the community, if you really care about the nurses, take the millions, invest them in staffing, safe staffing. Take those millions, invest them into our benefits. Take those millions, invest them into workplace violence protection. This is my message for you. And by the way, we are watching you. Union busting is disgusting. Union busting is disgusting. Our next speaker, she might be young. She could be my daughter. And I'm going to say it, I'm not going to embarrass her. She's smiling. I see the fire in her, and I'm so proud of her. Tanya Nunez. She's one of... She is one of the nurse practitioners who had enough courage to speak up after the active shooter almost got in and threatened not only to kill the patients, but to kill the nurses. Because she spoke out, because she was doing union activities. Do you know what disgusting Mr. Carr and his cronies did? He wrote her up and gave her a last chance agreement. And we are here to say, Tanya, you're not going anywhere. You're going to continue to stay here and represent the members and represent your communities and represent the patients. Now, I am going to turn her on. Tanya Nunez, welcome to the mic.
Hi everyone, thank you Nancy for such a great introduction. Yes, I was one of the nurses that was disciplined, and like Nancy says, I'm not going anywhere. I was born in New York City. I have nowhere else that I want to be. And like, I know that some people are asking for people to speak Spanish. Yo soy una hija de inmigrantes. Mis padres vinieron de la República Dominicana y yo no voy para ninguna parte porque yo soy de aquí, de Nueva York. El que cree que nos van a sacar de aquí, que nos van a mandar a otra parte, se equivocaron. Nosotros no vamos a ninguna parte. Lo que nosotros estamos tratando de buscar aquí son que el Mount Sinai venga y hable con nosotros y nos dé las protecciones que necesitamos para nuestros pacientes y para nosotros como enfermeras. Now I'm going to say something in English. Give me a second. Again, thank you all for joining us here. I'm here to speak about one of the major outstanding issues and one of the main reasons 15,000 nurses are on the streets and not inside our hospitals. Management at the richest hospitals in New York City are threatening to discontinue or drastically cut nurses' health benefits. These cuts would impact not just striking nurses here at Mount Sinai Hospital, Mount Sinai Morningside and West, and New York Presbyterian, but this also affects approximately 44,000 nurses and their families at over 50 hospitals around the state who are enrolled in NYC's benefit plan. There is this healthcare coverage for nurses like me who care for sick patients every single day, who have physically demanding jobs, and who unfortunately regularly experience violence on the job. We need our health insurance to keep us healthy and safe and to continue to safely care for our patients. I cannot underscore how absurd it is that hospital places that are supposed to be spaces of health and healing refuse to ensure that their own nurses have healthcare coverage. If these wealthy hospitals, whose priority is supposed to be caring for people, can't care for their own workers, what does this mean for the future of healthcare in general? We've already seen horrific cuts to healthcare coverage nationally, and now the wealthiest hospitals are trying to follow the lead, set by the Trump agenda rather than follow the lead of our safety net hospitals and ensure their nurses have good healthcare protections. To be clear, we are not looking for different coverage. We are fighting to maintain what we have. I also want to point out the hypocrisy of these wealthy hospitals that set the prices for the very care they say they now cannot afford. While New York is faced an affordability crisis, which New York City's wealthiest private hospitals are jacking up prices, charging patients nearly 4 times what it actually costs to provide care in 2023. And labor costs are included in the cost of providing care. So while greedy hospital executives argue that nurse salaries are to blame for higher patient care prices, the data shows that this is a false argument. We all know that nurses never go on strike over salaries. Let's get real. This is about hospital greed. New York City's wealthiest hospitals have increased prices by more than the rest. Hospitals across New York City increased how much they charge patients for care by about 150% between 2011 and 2023. But you know how much Mount Sinai jacked up their prices? 213%. We're here to shame, 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 shame. We're here to demand an end to this greed and this hypocrisy. We're here demanding our health care coverage because we want to be back in the hospital caring for our patients. Once again, this fight is about our health insurance. If we do not speak up now, this will trickle down and it will continue to go and basically cause our members, not just our members, our patients, our community to also suffer for the need to have health care. We need safety for everyone that walks into these buildings. It shouldn't just be in the ED. It shouldn't just be in the psych wards. We need everyone to feel safe when they walk into our hospitals. And we need respect. You cannot be out here disrespecting our nurses. We stand up and we advocate for our patients. You should not be disciplining, terminating, silencing any one of us. Because if you silence one, you silence us all. We will not stand for this. Thank you.
I told you. And we want to make it very clear. Those 3 CEOs, the one at New York Presbyterian last year made $26 million. The one here, over $7 million. Shame. You're talking about nurses' salary. Your one-day salary is what we make in a year. Remember at the height of the pandemic, the CEOs were in their second homes playing golf. Who was at the bedside? Nurses. Who saved New York? Nurses. And now you're going to tell us we are too expensive? We were the heroes, now we're the zeros? No. I got news for you, Mr. Cobb. You are the zero with all the OOs that you make every year. Respect nurses. Come to the table. Negotiate a fair contract. Give us a health care. Give us a patient-safe staffing. We need protection. And stop trying to harass our nurses and bust our union. We are not standing for it. Our next speaker is New York City Central Labor Council Chief of Staff, Samara Alon. Samara?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Xiomara Duarte. I'm here on behalf of the New York City Central Labor Council, representing close to 300 unions, over 1 million union members here in New York City, with a very clear message. An injury to one is an injury to all. And we're here standing next to our nurses and our siblings in the labor movement to remind Mount Sinai and every other greedy hospital executive that this is one thing you cannot try to manipulate. You cannot preach your concern for quality care, while at the same time leading the charge and stopping workplace violence provisions for inside these hospitals, while rolling back and scaling down safe staffing ratios that you previously agreed to, and you absolutely standing side by side with our nurse siblings, because every sector of this city recognizes that every union member has a fair share in helping our city run. And if the nurses who are at the key front lines of caring for our communities cannot receive the same respect and dignity, then we are going to stand here alongside you every day until you do. Thank you very much. And a quick shout out to some of our labor siblings that are in the house, not just here, but throughout all the 10 picket lines in the city. We have HTC, Local 3, UAW, CWA, 338. We have them here, we see you, and I know the nurses are very thankful to have the support, because solidarity is forever.
Thank you. We'd like to recognize the New York Communities for Change and Cities in Action, Community Voices, Brittany Baxter. Thank you all for coming, and we will be here every day until management comes to the table and negotiate a fair contract. Fair contract now. Mount Sinai, you need to be transparent. You need to allow our nurses to go back in and take care of our patients. Your lives will not stick. New York City knows. We know that the nurses care for New York. At the height of the pandemic, we were here. We wore garbage bags without any PPE. Okay, nurses are the most trusted profession. 21 years in a row. Mr. Carr, stop your lies. Mount Sinai, stop hiding. We could see your ugly lies. That's my response. There should be a process, but the nurses did not do anything wrong except coming out speaking about safety. They had an active shooter. Thank God we had a nurse who barricaded that door. You know what happened to that nurse? That nurse got suspended for no reason because they wanted to hide the truth. Yes, absolutely. That's in progress. They've been doing everything every day. Disciplining nursing, firing nurses, and lie about it. Okay? We had the 3 nurses got here for lies, they were fired. But we also had nurses who were doing union activities because they are elected local union members who need to do union activities. So the anti-union who wants to bust the union decided to write them up and give them a last warning. No one should be getting a last chance agreement for having a conversation. No one should be harassed because you're sitting to protect your patient. You're asking for workplace violence protection. That should not happen. And we are sending a strong message to that employer. Union busting is disgusting. We need to come to work in a place that is protected. The nurses need to have violence protection. They're not only the nurses, the patients as well. Because our #1 priority is always going to be a patient. A patient before profit. A patient will always come first. We'll send you the information. We are ready to negotiate. We are here. The team is here today, tomorrow, tonight. We need to tell Mount Sinai to come to the table and negotiate a fair contract. When we sat there with mediators and wait for them, they show up for 5 minutes, they sit in their office eating bonbon, and they don't show up. We are ready to negotiate. We are ready to care for our patients. Now,
This morning you told another media outlet that the hospitals are offering a wage increase of $4,500 a year, but the hospitals are saying that's a 40% increase. So can you just clarify what are nurses asking for in terms of wages and what are the hospitals offering?
I know Mr. Carr, with his greedy face, would like to make this about wages. It's not about wages. It's about patient care. It's about our benefits. It's about worker protection. The hospital came to us and said, $4,500, you could either use it for your medical or you could either use it as a wage. You do whatever you want to do with it. So tell Mr. Carr, who made more than $14 million, that he needs to stop lying.
So to clarify, this is not about wages, it's about raises. Have you reached an agreement on wages?
We have not reached anything because they never show up to negotiate. How could you reach any agreement with somebody who's sitting in their office and would not show up?
So is it not true that
It is not true.
that NYC are asking for 40% wage increase?
No, I mean, they're inflating. That all makes sense. Nurses, we are here to nurse patients, to care for patients. Like we said in the beginning, this is not about wages. Wages we could always negotiate. But patient care and patient and nurses' safety, we will not cut corners on that. And that is what the hospital is not telling you. When it comes to our health care, we will not cut corners. Because if we're not healthy, we cannot take care of you. Who takes care of you when you come in the hospital? Who's the first person that you see when you walk into that emergency room? It's a nurse. Nurses! When you leave, it's nurses. During the height of the pandemic, where was Mr. Carr? In his second home playing golf. And where were the nurses? At the bedside, using a phone for the patients to talk to their family, away from our children, away from our family, sleeping in the garage, sleeping in a hotel because we were afraid to get a family sick. No PPE, no vaccination. You guys were banging the pot. What happened? What happened? So that's what we need to talk about. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about our community. Let's talk about patient care. But if I'm not healthy, I cannot take care of you. If you